Moving on to section 24, segmentation. We have 8 terms to cover, and I'll show you something in the org. So segmentation is the ability to query data and split it out into groups based on different attributes or characteristics. For example, customers who have bought shoes in the last 30 days. A segment is a set of objects, for example, individuals in B2C, that share some set of characteristics. Similar to an audience, you can learn more about their differences in this internal resource related to an audience and population count. So this definition seems targeted to folks who are familiar with marketing and marketing cloud. And basically I think we could say it's the result of segmentation. The thing you get when you do segmentation is you get a segment, which is, I believe, a group, a split out group from your original group of unified profiles, and you decide who you're looking for within that group based on their attributes or characteristics, and you make basically a subgroup, and that's a segment. Segments are a tab in Data Cloud where marketers can create segments to send to activation targets. Again, this glossary has become very marketing cloud oriented in this section because that's, I guess, who typically creates these segments. A segment on, this is a very weird field label in Data Cloud. Within segmentation, segment on defines the target object used to build your segment. I would also question this word target in this context, because target, you might think that's where you're going to place your segment, is in the target object, but here really they mean the source object. They're saying, what's the original object that you want to do this segmentation on? So I don't know, I think they should just label the field object, because this is the object you want to segment on, but they label it segment on. A container. This is not in the official glossary, but it is part of the graphical user interface that you use to build a segment. So a container is added to the segmentation canvas when you define a filter using a related attribute. The container has the applicable rule options. The related attributes data model object becomes the container object. If you add other related attributes to the container, they act on the same data row as the container object. The attribute library displays objects up to 5 relationships away from the container. You can include the related attributes of any of these objects in the container. However, attributes in separate containers have no relationship to each other and filter your segment separately. So a really great example that they gave was the idea of yellow scarves. If you create 2 separate containers and say, show me my customers who have bought something yellow in one container, and in a separate container say, show me my customers who have bought a scarf, then you are going to get anyone who bought anything that's yellow and anyone who bought any color scarf. But if you create one container and put yellow and scarf in the container for products purchased, then you're going to get a smaller group of customers who purchased yellow scarves. So that's the function of the container, is to say, what is the relationship between these filters that I'm setting for my segments? So count segment is to request a count of the individuals in your segment based on your current data ingested and defined segment filters. Population count is the number of records or contacts identified in a segment within Data Cloud. So I think these are the same, count segment and population count. Curated DMO. This is not in the official glossary, but I did see it in the materials. Not exactly sure what they mean by it. It's mentioned in regard to publishing a segment to a Data Cloud target. And it says users aren't removed from a curated DMO, even if they no longer meet the segment filter criteria. Each time you publish a segment to a curated DMO, records are added or updated to the DMO based on the primary key. It doesn't delete existing records from the DMO. The following attributes persist in the curated DMO. I don't understand this, but I put it here to get you a little farther along if you do encounter this in the materials, and if you learn more about it, please fill me in. So looking into the org now, we see a segment that I created based on the hands-on projects. I ran into trouble with my no zip code 1, so I created a no zip code. You can ignore the 2. If you did the hands-on projects, you should have this as no zip code. And so here are the qualities of this segment. It's active, who created it and when, which data space is it in, what is the publish schedule. And then if you click on edit rules, it takes you into this. So this is where we defined the rules of who to include in this segment. So we said if there's at least one where is US based is true, and there's and out here, postal code has no value, then this is customers who are US based, but we don't have a postal code for them. And we started with 39 unified profiles, and of those, 17 match these filters. So our segment population is 17.